Hey y'all, this is Philip the Learn to Grow guy. Today I'm going to show you what I've been trying to work on. Well, not trying, but what I have been working on to try to keep deer out of my garden. As you all know that I've been plagued with deer, and this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fence them off, okay? This is a T-post, 7-foot T-post, okay? I could have gotten something taller, but that's fine. 7 foot is what I'm working with. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to close off everything starting from here, going all the way around the area where I grew my potatoes and stuff like that, where I've had my beans, where deer has come in and eaten everything, where even rabbits have gotten in to try to eat some of the stuff that I've been trying to grow, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm fencing those suckers out, okay? And let me take a walk. Let's take a walk and I'll show you what I've been doing. Okay, one of the first things I had to do was clear some of this area here, move some of the twigs and do some tree trimmings. And as you can see over here, I've got a lot of stuff that's set for, guess what? For making biochar. As you can see, the pit that I dug a couple of years, going on a couple of years now, more than a year now, it's basically been full of water still. Last year we had a lot of rain out here that kept me from working on that. So anyway, I had to come through here. I had to, clean out all this area back here. And I got a lot of those extra branches that I can put over there for the biochar. And I had to clean all this stuff out, okay? Now, which means that I had to get my T-post driver, drive that stuff in so I can get things set up. Compost pile, well, I don't know. Anyway, I got to talk to my sister Lori about that compost pile. Anyway, so what I've done is that with the T-post, I used some of this material here. I'll show you what it is. It's right there. I've got two sizes that I'm using, okay? This is the 4-foot section here, and that's a 2-foot section, okay? So it's just chicken wire, okay? It's got a 1 inch, these little spacings here, they're about an inch, okay? It's 1 inch, as you can see right there. But otherwise, this is a 150-foot roll, 24 inches. And this one is basically the same, except for this one is 4 foot, 48 inches instead of 24 foot, okay? So, like I said, what I started doing is that I started putting the son of a guns up. And the goal is, on the very top up here, that's where the 4 foot goes. The 4 foot goes all the way up on top. And the bottom is where I put the 2 foot, okay? And I'll walk you around. I'm still working on it. Now, keep in mind that our roll is 150 feet, and this is where the first roll terminated. This one as well as the one on the bottom, okay, the 2 foot, okay? And so what I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to get these two pieces together and get them suspended up high like the rest of this is. I don't know if you can see that or not, but like the rest of this stuff is high and not sagging as much. This is sagging too much, but my goal is to get this up a few inches more. If I can get a little bit higher, like to there, I'd be very much happy with that. And the key thing is, I don't think deer's gonna try to get a running start in the woods and try to jump over it like this. I don't think they have the space to do it, compared to here, this section here where it's all nice and clear. I think they could have enough room to try to run and jump over this portion here, but we'll see what happens, okay? We'll see what happens. To continue on, pear tree. Branches right there on it. I gotta either prune this or make an adjustment. I'm probably gonna end up pruning it. The only thing is, I don't want to miss out on some fruit, because last year the fruit I had on this tree actually got eaten by I'm blaming it all on squirrels. Okay, I'm blaming it all on squirrels. So anyway, everything continues. One of the things that you'll notice that I've done is that I've tied the bottom to the top to try to close the gap out a little bit, or at least to stiffen it out some. The reason for that is that I just don't want anything thinking that it's real easy to just climb up and get over. I mean, they can still probably get through, but I don't think rabbits are going to do it. I think the stuff like raccoons, possums and stuff like that will probably be able to climb and get through here. Or even if they make it all the way to the top, they can still get over. I can't stop that. Asian pear tree. Last time I ate from these was 2 years ago. Squirrels got to them and wiped them out. So again, another Asian pear tree. And again, like I said, As you can see, I've got everything gapped out somewhat. And what I'm going to end up having to do is I got to get some stakes and drive these suckers down, stretch this out some. I may even put some dirt here to do a little bit more backfilling to raise this up. But nonetheless, I got to get some pins to try to take this down, and so I can anchor it to make sure that rabbits or whatever other varmints there are do not just try to crawl underneath. Okay, so this is what I've gotten done so far, and this is more than 150 feet of both the 4-foot and the 2-foot. Okay, that's what this is. And while I was over here, I thought I might as well plant some. This is a loganberry. Okay, I picked that up, I think, when I was in Chicago. I believe it was in Chicago. Wherever I was, I picked that up and I brought that back. And so anyway, so the fencing continues, and these are some of the blackberries that I've gotten. I believe, who's that? My brother and sister Lori and Osmond, they gave me those, and so I've got these planted here. I've got them even tied to the fencing here because they were laying on the ground, and I didn't want that. So that's just temporary, and these are blackberries that I've got here. And again, the goal is to have this set up so that rabbits, deer, or whatever do not come in. A couple of nights ago, I came out of the cabin and there was a rabbit running down the road trying to get away from here. But whether I'm going to close this entry off for this driveway off or not, I don't think I'm going to do that. What I could do is I could run more fencing along this way all the way to the end down there. I could do that, but again, I'm not sure if I want to do that. But we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, that's what I've been working on, trying to keep the deer out of here. And I'm thinking that with the woods being so close back here, that the deer will not get a good running start to try to jump over this from these woods. So I'm thinking that the woods back there should help also. Can you imagine trying to jump over this and hitting this tree? Yeah, so anyway, that's what I've been doing. And out here, guys, when you try to do the homesteading thing, trust me, your work is never completed, okay? Your work is never completed. But nonetheless, it's stuff to keep you busy. And for those of you who actually have children and you're contemplating the homesteading or the country life and such, don't think they're going to get bored out here. They're not going to get bored. Like I said, even as an adult, there's always stuff to do. If you introduce chickens, well, I'm not introducing chickens, but if you were to introduce chickens at your place, if you decide to do the country life thing, trust me, it's a lot to keep people busy. It doesn't matter how old you are. There's plenty to keep children busy, and there's a lot of fun they can have playing out in the in the woods around your place and stuff like that, or even in the open fields. There's a lot of stuff they can do. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to do is encourage some of you guys to come out here and do it. Even though there are challenges, I think you'll still find it rewarding. Okay, I know for me, there's nothing like eating watermelon from my own little watermelon patch over there by where the corn and the beans. Where I grew some of the corn and the beans, I grew some some Korean melons out there, and I really like the way that Korean melons taste. They're not overly sweet. You can eat the seeds and everything. The seeds give them a sweeter flavor and such. I'm looking forward to all of that. Eating peppers and okra. I love eating okra out of the garden, fresh, and if I can keep the deer out, hopefully this year I have some tomatoes I can actually eat too. There's one other big rodent that I failed to mention, and that is groundhogs. Groundhogs are some big son of a guns. I saw them last year standing on hind legs, eating, I think it was part of my pepper plants, I think it was, as well as some of the blueberries that I had. It was sitting on his hind legs, man. It's like I came out, and when I realized what it was, I didn't have my glasses on. When I realized what it was, I got up to go get my pistol and stuff like that, and that son of a gun took off running. So, anyway, it's very interesting out here. I think you guys will find it very entertaining. There are challenges out here, that's a given, but nonetheless, I think that God gave us one of these things under the skull for us to do some thinking and figure out how to do things naturally and how to get rid of whatever varmints we need to get rid of, okay? So anyway, y'all take care, like, share, subscribe, and leave comments, okay? Leave comments if you think this fence is going to work. Like I said, it's tall compared to my little height, but everything's tall compared to my height. So anyway, I'll see y'all later in the next video. Y'all take care.